Hey, welcome back. I'm going to show you how to set up your first range in RangePro. Once you log into the store site from your admin page after you created a user for the store site, this is where your employees are actually going to sign in and manage the range. So to get started, you need to actually set up a range for them to manage. I've already got one here, but let's go ahead and set up a new range. I'm just going to call it test range. Now keep in mind, the name that you put here will be visible in your public reservations if you're a premium member. So in the public reservations, it'll say you're confirmed for your reservation at, whatever your store name is. And then also when they're reserving the time, it'll tell them the range name that they're reserving against. So if you have multiple ranges, it's good to help your customers identify which is which. In this instance, I'm just going to call it test. The range is enabled. The number of lanes that I'm going to do is 10. And then the range terminology. Now, this can be for archery ranges, gun ranges, it could be for golf courses, it could be for batting cages. It's whatever the terminology is for you. And for archery, it might be lanes. For gun range, it might be lanes. For batting cages, cages, of course. But in this instance, we're going to just call it lanes. And then flag expiring is when their time reduces below 15 minutes, it's going to mark it whatever the color is that you set for flag expiring. So I'm going to set this for 15 minutes. And this will make sense when we go into the custom coloring. So looking at the custom coloring, this is what your range dashboard is going to be colored based on the type of state that the session is in. If it's open, the color will be green with a white text. Occupied will be dark gray, almost black with a white text. Expiring will be yellow with a white text. This doesn't look very good, so I'm going to go ahead and change this to a dark gray. Lane expired is red with a white text. Now bar and border color. Bar color will be the solid green color or the solid gray or solid yellow or solid red. The border color, if you turn this on, it's good to turn off the bar color. The border color will be those colors, the open, occupied, expiring, and expired color on the outside of the lane. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. But we'll keep bar color for now. Now, if we go to session configuration, these are the session types, what you want to call them. The session type might be walk-in. The session type might be Groupon. It might be Yelp. It might be whatever source they're coming from that you want to identify. And this is important because this helps you track statistics and the charts that are available to you. And you can see the source of your revenue or the source of your sessions that come to your range. So I'm just going to add a walk-in, and I'm going to call it WI for the type legend, just for short. And I'm going to set this default. Now the session lengths, I'm going to go ahead and add a session length, and this is how long the session is for. And this will be a standard 1-hour session. It's enabled. Is this publicly visible? So keep in mind, if you mark it publicly visible, it'll be available to your public reservations if you're a premium member. I'm not going to set it to public just now. We'll go through that in a later video. I'm going to set this to default. Unlimited time, no. If you were to have a membership option where you offer your members unlimited time, you would mark this to yes, so that when you add your members to the range, it will automatically set them to unlimited time. The links in minutes will be 60 because it's a 1-hour session. Now, if I wanted to offer a setup time, this would be time that's added only on the session ad. Now, if you extend a session by an hour, this setup time will not be added. Only the 60 minutes will be added. So this is initially when the customer goes on the range and needs a little bit extra time to actually set up. Or if you had an introductory video that you wanted to show your customers, this is where you would set that. So we're going to set this to 0 for now. Custom color, if you wanted to override the occupied color, which I've got set to dark gray, you could do that here. So if I wanted to mark my members different than other customers on my range, I could set the color different for those customers. We're going to leave that to no. The pay-per-use type. A range can have many different types of session links. You can have pay-per-use, you can have prepaid time, Currently, this is set up for prepaid time. So a customer comes to you, pays for the session, and they're purchasing 1 hour of time. And then when we add them to the range, it counts down until it gets to 0. Once it gets to 0, the session is expired, and you can tell them to either extend or it's time for them to leave the range. With pay-per-use, this is actually tracking their time, how many minutes they're actually using. And then you would charge them per minute. So you would just set the rate, for example, would be $13, and I would charge that rate every 60 minutes. And this will keep track of their time and give you an invoice at the very end so you can charge your customers through your point of sale system. We're going to set this to null right now. We'll come back to this. Let's go ahead and add the session length. Now, the important part, if you're a premium member, is the hours that customers can reserve against this specific range. Keep in mind, you might have many range types. You might have many ranges. They can all have different hours of operation and therefore have different reservation times available to them. So let's go ahead and add just a couple of days. I won't get too much into this. This will be in a later video. And we're going to do 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. We'll add this for Monday. And we'll add in Tuesday. Tuesday will be open a little bit later, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you would do this for each of the individual days of the week, all the way down to Saturday. Let's go to range reservation configuration. So if you're a premium member, this is the very specific information about your reservations. You can give your customers special instructions. So when they go to reserve time with you and they go to verify their reservation, it'll actually display the text that you have here and they have to acknowledge it. So we'll leave this no for now. Again, we'll come back to reservations a little bit later, especially public reservations and member reservations. The reservation interval, how often is reservations available? So every 15 minutes will be for example, from 8 to 9, it'll be 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, so on. Every 30 minutes is every half hour, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30. Every 60 minutes is on the hour, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have this flexibility. I'm going to go ahead and set it to 60 minutes for now. We'll come back to that. The reservation terminology. So this is very specific to your publicly visible reservations. The customers that come to your site and say, I would like to reserve time, this is the terminology that you would present to them. Now, it could be the same, it could be different. It's really up to you and how they understand the reservation system and how it works with your specific range. Limit reservations. I want to actually control the reservations and how much time or how many lanes on this range customers can reserve at any given time. So max reservations per hour, this is your employees. This is the maximum number of lanes that they can reserve in a given hour. So we're going to allow our employees to reserve all the way up to the maximum lanes available, which is 10. The member reservations, how much time or lanes you want to make available to your members. I'm going to allow my members to be able to reserve all the way up to 10 lanes per hour, so the maximum number of lanes in the range. Now, to help restrict the ability of public customers being able to reserve the entire range, I'm going to set my max public reservations per hour to 6 so that we can control a little bit and have some extra lanes available for our members. Now, lastly, the block dates and times. The block dates and times are the times that are not available for reservations. There's specific days, and you have a start and an end time. If you have some maintenance, private event, whatever is actually happening on your range. Or you can block the entire day, like for holidays, for Christmas, Thanksgiving. Now, the message, this is a custom message, and this is what they'll actually see. So we won't add one now. We'll go ahead and save. And that's how you add a range. We'll get into how to manage it in the next video. Thank you.